Councillor Scott, we can have some order, please. We've got a couple things to deal with. Councillor Scott?
May I have this on online? Some of the printing's very small, so I can enlarge it on my computer.
Yeah, I think there's a white sheet there beside you that it's been enlarged, and we will get this online.
Thank you.
Okay? The numbers here have been expanded. Okay? Councillor Edelman?
Just a question, Mr. Mayor, around the reports and the agenda. So we are having a meeting next Tuesday. There will be an agenda produced, and these reports will be part of that agenda. That will be on the website as per usual.
Yep. Councillor Bonsteel?
Just a question so that everyone has the opportunity to understand where we're going to discuss this. Have we decided would it be at 9 o'clock in place of the economic development? Is it at 1 o'clock in place of the strategic plan? I think people want to have ample time to be able to come and hear the discussion. So can we decide when we want to do that?
What's Councillor's wish? Councillor Scott?
I think we should start at 9 o'clock, and if we have time, we'll carry on into economic development, and then into 1 o'clock on the strat. So we just kind of play it by ear as we go along. So 9 o'clock in the morning, I think we
9 o'clock on Tuesday, the 14th.
Yep.
Valentine's Day, 9 a.m.
I'm expecting to be able to
Love, feel the love.
Okay, okay. Anything else? We have some confidential items. Discussion period. 11.1 is an opportunity for public or the press to make an inquiry as to items of business on the agenda. State your name.
Linda, I just want a clarification on what the Deputy Mayor just said about this being sprung on you. When a lot of these people were here on Thursday, this council made a motion and asked for this, asked for it to be here today. So I'm sure that these people aren't here because they got some secret code.
Amen.
I think they're here because they were told on Thursday that this could come up tonight.
Right on.
Well, you have to understand that sometimes we do receive things that we haven't seen in advance. And I just do not think it's a proper procedure because I don't think we make full body decisions.
But it was.
We don't see things in advance, and we didn't see it.
You did ask for it on Thursday though, right?
We
asked for it on Thursday. These people heard it being asked for on Thursday, and that's what many of them are here.
Like my position, that's my position that.
Okay.
Okay, thank you, thank you, just wanted to make sure.
Keep it, please. Yes, sir.
3 items pertaining to items you have on your agenda. The first one is street light. Could you give some consideration to a street light at the corner of Walker Road and Highway 21? Because at night you cannot see where that corner is to turn. I don't know whether that falls in your purview, the county's, or the Ministry of Transportation, but somebody should get to whatever body it is and say, put a light there. Secondly, you talked about speed limits on Goosemark. There is a speed limit on Walker Road at the present time that is very poorly signed. There's a speed limit on Hague Line that is very poorly signed. And if you looked at the bylaw, you would know that Walker Road from the highway to Hague Line is 60 kilometers an hour. However, when you're coming from the highway in, you don't find that 60-kilometer sign till you're about halfway down the road. So somebody should look at where you're putting the signs.
Okay.
The third question is, when does the tender to the STF expire? What date?
The request was, requested on the Tuesday meeting. John, can you,
They gave you 2
got
weeks
a
and,
2-week extension,
Up to 2 weeks.
up to 2 weeks.
so what's that, the 18th?
That would be, about as long as it can go, yes.
So that would mean that on the meeting of the 14th, you gotta make a decision one way or the other for sure. Or else you lose that tender and you start all over again,
I believe that's correct.
at an increased cost. Thank you.
Okay. Any other, Mr. Norris?
Mr. Mayor, Bill Norris. I have a comment, and it just seems to me that you have a professional administrator whose whole life and career is based on information. I don't think he's prepared a report. He's been here. He's probably worked for 4 whole days nonstop from leaving that meeting on Thursday night till 4 o'clock this afternoon. And from what I understand, that there's virtually no new information. All he's asked to do is present a report, present the information in report form. And I don't really understand why you can't give him the opportunity to. He probably knows more than the entire collective of council put together. So I don't understand why, quite frankly, he's been muzzled and not able to speak tonight. And it just seems ridiculous to me that there must be something hiding there. That's the impression that's provided. Those are my comments.
Okay, thank you. Who's next over there? Cam?
Yes, good evening, Mr. Mayor and Council. I appreciate the agendas being put on the internet. However, there's been no minutes since the 19th of December. For me, what council does is more important than what they're going to do. So I really appreciate seeing the minutes put up on the website.
Try and get that looked at.
Thank you.
Peter?
Just got a couple of quick questions. I'd like to, Mr. Norris's comments too. I think that the administrative staff probably gets maligned a fair bit too, but you've done an incredible amount of work. I think everybody wants to try and get to the point we understand the numbers and where we're going. I have a couple of questions I think are relevant. Misinformation as far as the Bill Canada money, yes or no, if it's gonna be there or not. If we're moving towards a different conversation, we better know as taxpayers for sure, if that money's not there, what's the drop dead date on that? We're playing around with numbers now to talk about spreading over the whole community, which I think is actually a better idea to make sure everybody, if you do decide to go forward, but I'd like to know what the drop dead is from the Bill Canada money. And certainly, I'd like to see a piece of paper saying, you got to February 18th, you lose $15 million. I've not seen it. Maybe you guys have it, maybe you're privy to it, but there is no plan B in this conversation from my view. And if you lose $15 million and the taxpayers don't know that that thing's gone in 2 weeks, I think you're doing a disservice to the community. So I'd like by the 14th you come back from the provincial government, the federal government and say, here's your piece of paper. We either have it or we don't have it. And I think that's an important part of the conversation next week, quite frankly, too, because that would minimize the conversation for taxpayers for what they're paying. If you don't have a certainty there, I don't think you're giving full disclosure to the entire crowd here. That's why we're here tonight. This has impact to the whole community, but doing nothing has a huge impact too. So that's what I gotta say.
Thank you, John. Mr. Bailey?
I've got a question about the Build Canada money, and I know that there's a lot of numbers. I presume those little things are numbers on these pink sheets. What's the per ratepayer amount of Build Canada money that is going to be leaving this community? Is there a headline number per tax bill for that? What's the Grand Bend or the Lambton Shores portion of the 14 or 15 million? And what is that per ratepayer that will be leaving this community? I don't want to trouble you councillors with another number that they're having trouble digesting, but perhaps the magnitude of that